Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks host the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. Tonight at 7 p.m., it's soccer night, and kids glow around the bases postgame. Saturday at 6:30, it's Broadway night with postgame fireworks and Broadway rave. Sunday at 1:30, it's Military Appreciation Day, and the kids run around the bases.
A great day out for the entire family. Kids run the bases after every Sunday home game. Want the best seats all season? Get more Ferry Hawks for only $63. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
Well, from the great state of North Dakota, with us today is Senator Kevin Cramer. And Senator Cramer is in New York, and he has a few things to say. And I guess you're in New York. You want to go to that soccer game.
I do. I'm going to the Brazil versus Morocco World Cup game on Saturday. And I love soccer. I have a son who played very high-level soccer and decided he'd rather make money right after graduating, so I'm good with that. But we're going to that game, and I used to be a college soccer referee, which was perfect, by the way, training for Congress. In fact, what was even better was youth soccer refereeing, because there's nobody in the stadium dumber than the referee. And if you don't believe, just ask all the moms.
Now, your North Dakota is right on the coast of Canada. What the heck is going on between Canada and you guys?
Yeah, I know. Well, first of all, North Dakota gets along with Canada just fine. We're having a little bit of an international problem, as you know. John, I think it'll all be worked out. Canadians are funny people. They're nice people. They're kind people, but they're a little too sensitive. I've told them that. I don't.
I agree with you. I love the Canadian people, but they're too sensitive. They got to learn how to take a joke sometimes.
I told the National Post, they quoted me. It was kind of a funny sort of feature story about me being Canadian whisperer in Washington, but. They said, do you have any advice for Canadians? I said, yeah, don't be so sensitive. I said, just remember, it's always warmer in Miami than it is in Winnipeg. So don't rob yourselves of the joy of a vacation to Florida just because you're mad at the President of the United States. I hate the messages on the outside of my mug at Starbucks, but I love the coffee, so I have a gold card. I'm just simply not going to let their politics offend me to that point. I do think they're too sensitive. Having said that, they are also quite dependent on the United States, and I think they don't like that very much, but Donald Trump understands that. But we also have a really good supply chain, connected supply chain. We are very integrated, and that's being disrupted right now by some of the upheaval over the USMCA, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, and the time for renewal. Right now, it's not renewal so much as it is for a review, and that's what we're in the middle of right now. So we'll see how the banter goes back and forth. They didn't want to be the 51st state. I don't know why. I don't want them to be.
But they didn't realize Trump was joking.
I know. I did tell the president, though, I'll take Alberta and Saskatchewan every day of the week. And I'd probably even take Manitoba and Ontario. My friend Doug Ford, you probably know Doug.
Let me tell you something. I put Doug Ford together. They had never spoken before with Congresswoman Claudia Tenney.
Oh, sure.
And now they love each other.
Yeah. Well, Doug's easy to like. He was just in my office last week, and we had a good discussion. Whenever I just feel like talking Canadian, I call Doug, and I find him to be a fascinating, solid businessman and good politician. The thing I grieve, though, is, and I've told Donald Trump this, he practically is Donald Trump. I mean, he's like the Donald Trump of Ontario.
He is the Donald Trump of Ontario, and he is a smart guy. He's a businessman.
Yep.
And he knows how to do business, and he knows how to communications. And,
he does.
That's important.
Yeah.
So I'm glad North Dakota is doing well.
Yes.
I'm glad now, like Claudia Tenney, who's right on the border with Doug, is doing well. I mean, I've talked to, I was with Prime Minister Carney a few weeks ago in New York. He came to the New York Economic Club, and we got along well, even though we had our differences about the ostriches in British Columbia.
Yeah.
And I got along well with Mike Weissman, the ambassador to
great
Washington.
guy. Yep.
Nice man. And he used to be with Sullivan and Cromwell, one of my law firms that I do business with.
Oh, okay.
And I also did well with the new trade, Tom Clark, I think his name is.
So it's interesting because one of the things that Prime Minister Carney has done, which I'm not sure those of us in the United States fully appreciate, their form of government, as you know, this parliamentary form of government, obviously the Prime Ministers and his cabinet are members of Parliament. And it's rare to bring somebody even into the diplomatic corps who's not a politician. And in this case, he has brought in bankers like himself. He even started a new organization called, it's DIA, I think it's called DIA, the Defense Industry Group. And they're quasi-government, but they're led by a banker, not a parliamentarian. And I think that part of Canada's past, that Justin Trudeau, who put socialism on steroids, bringing some business-minded people to Canada makes all the sense in the world. I just want us to get our relationship with Canada squared away so that we can be part of it. North America has so much to bring to the table as a continent, not the least of which is energy. I was
there with Prime Minister Carney at the New York Economic Club, and he said it exactly right. He said that our friendship together is more, the parts, the whole is worth more than the parts, and working together, North America is a great power.
So that's a great point, because this is what I think we have to understand. As you know, over 300 million, roughly almost 350 million people with 25% of the wealth of the world. We are the consumers of the world, even though we're 5% of the population. Canada's 40 million people really adds up to more than 40 more people when you combine the resources of the continent. When it comes to energy, John, together we are a powerhouse. We're multiple times Saudi Arabia and the Middle East.
We are a powerhouse. North America,
Yep.
Not even with Alaska, not even including the Arctic Ocean, which
Right.
we should take a better charge of.
Yep.
We are the powerhouse of
No question.
of the world.
Now, one thing Mark Carney did do, and this was something I advised him the first time I met him, I went up to see him about a week after he was elected, is he has gotten on board with national defense. And our generals have confirmed that with me, that they are now at over 2% of GDP in Canada. This was something that Justin Trudeau was proud that he was reducing. Canada's contribution to its own national defense, and more importantly, to NATO. They're a founding member of NATO. He's now got them at 2%, going toward 5%. Even the United States is only at about 3.5%. So these are big leaps for Canada, and I hope all of that is.
And I think that maybe the Europeans are finally realizing we still have a major problem with NATO.
Yep.
The European community has their own problem.
Yep.
And I think Greenland is very important to defend Europe and to be able to defend all of North America.
It is, whether it's our country or just a good ally. It's very important. But I think that this is one of the great gifts that Donald Trump has given to the world, even to those who don't know it's a gift yet. And that is getting Europe to take more ownership of their own security. As we look at the big fight in the South Pacific, and looking at the big fight in China, we can't spread ourselves that thin. We still have to do more, John. We have to add to our national defenses. I'm on the Armed Services Committee. We passed the National Defense Authorization Act out of committee last week. Hopefully we can get it on the floor within a week or two and demonstrate, hey, we're for real. We're going to build up our munitions. We're going to build up our modernization effort. We're going to continue to blow away from China in space. But everybody else has to do more as well.
I agree with you 100%. Senator Kevin Cramer from the great state of North Dakota, a big oil producer for the United States, too. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for your common sense, and thank you for just being yourself.
I like being myself. It's the only person I know how to be, John. Thank you for the opportunity.